Now, this book is very, very strange. It's almost like they went in the past to show you that they can go in the past. Because this book predicts almost exactly what's going on today about Donald Trump. I want you to take a listen to this man that did all the heavy lifting, and I'll come back right after this. Thank you in advance.
Wednesday, August 9th, 12:15 Mountain Time, 2017. Have you guys heard about this yet? This book that was written, actually there's two books I want to share with you that were written 124 years ago. One book is titled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. There's another one that's titled The Last President. And they were authored by the same person back in the late 1800s. I think 1890 and 1893, respectively. This is really super bizarre. And both of these books can be confirmed at the Library of Congress. And here is the first book I want to talk about. And I'm just going to go over some of the key points that I found. I did read the book. It's 266 pages long. I scanned through most of it, writing down, just took a few notes of some things that are weird parallels with today's society. And this was 124 years ago. And it's titled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Scan through the book, and it's here at the Library of Congress, like I said. Okay, the boy's name is fitting with today's modern-day world. There's a boy by the name of Baron Trump, and he's the son of the current president. He has a mentor in the book. Let's go to the book that's at the Library of Congress right here. I'll post the link. You can confirm all this yourself. He has a mentor by the name of Don. Okay. There's also a reference on page 87. Well, actually, Don gives him a map and directions to a portal that can take him to a place. It's a manuscript. Right here it is. According to the learned Don Foom's manuscript, the portals to the world within a world, this is on page 7, were situated somewhere in northern Russia, possibly the upper Urals of Russia. And these portals would actually lead you to a different dimension, which would take you to a world within a world. It's really bizarre. But continuing on, let's go to page 87. I noticed there was something that reminded me of a word today that's in our everyday lives, but it's got an extra letter in it in the book. Page 87. Just bear with me, guys. This is really weird. Almost there. Page 85. There we go. 87. Where's it at? 86, 87. Okay. Yes, sure enough. I'm just going to read some parts in here. Yes, sure enough, for I raised my eyes. There, towering above the bed, stood the slender crystal column which marked the end of Goggle Land. And it makes a few references in this chapter about Goggle Land, which reminded me of Google Land. It talks about on page 90 a marble highway, makes several references to a marble highway in this world right here within a world. Not quite sure what the marble highway means. It talks about a big discovery of natural gas. It makes a couple of references to that. Here on page 100, it starts to mention in this chapter about someone by the name of Long Thumbs, who was leading the way on this tour, I think, through the world within a world. And everything was made of silver. Everything. Keeps talking about everything made of silver. I think that's on page 105. Silver, silver, silver. Everything he saw was made of silver in this world of worlds. Very strange. This book was written back in 1893, and it can be confirmed at the Library of Congress. I'll post the link in the description box. It just has a lot of weird parallels with today's world. And I'll read some of them from this article here at, where's it at, the Daily Wire. This is their take on it. The novel, and this is true, the novel tells of a wealthy aristocratic boy who lives in, check this out, Castle Trump. That's one thing I forgot to tell you. It does state that the boy lived in Castle Trump and is guided on his journey to Russia by a man named Don. There you go. Sums it all up. The multitude of similarities to today's Trump family from this book are just incredible, and it concludes the Trump family is capable, or the conspiracy theorists that the Trump family was capable of time travel. Barron visits Russia on an extraordinary venture, guided by the master of all masters by the name of Don. The Trump family motto, the one in the book, that is, the pathway to glory is strewn with pitfalls and dangers. The illustration from the novel depicts Trump dressed in lavish old-fashioned clothing and jewelry as he departs from Castle Trump and begins his voyage heading to Russia to locate the entrance, the portal, into alternate dimensions, the world within the worlds. There's also another book authored by the same author, and that is this book here called The Last President. And both these books are by Ingersoll Lockwood. This one was written in 1900. And this one here has an incredibly weird parallel with today's world. Unbelievable. Starts off what the book is about. It's about a man who got elected president. I think it was in 1896. Complete underdog, was not expected to win. He was a wealthy man who lived on Fifth Avenue in New York. Yes, you're hearing this all right. And he was not expected to win. Complete underdog, and it completely surprised everybody. And when this man was elected president, it talks about the city of Chicago. Let's see if I can find it. Page 7. I read this one too. I just kind of skimmed through it. Page 7, it says the city of Chicago went mad. There was people rioting and protesting all across the land. And then here's what I'm going to leave you with. This book goes on to talk about, and it's a short book. It's only like 60 pages long. It talks about this guy, like I said earlier, that wasn't expected to become president, that did. Talking about him making his own currency. And it talks about the American economy on the verge of collapse. Just a lot of weird parallels. But anyway, he makes his own currency, and that didn't work out too well. Page 16, I'm going to leave you with this. Like the other book, it has some other strange parallels with today's world, and this is another one. Page 16, and it talks about this new president, this very big surprising president that was not expected to win. He won, and as he was inaugurated after inauguration, he starts naming his cabinet. And it also makes mention on page 18, just real quick, about some executive orders that this president signs. Okay? Page 16. Here we go. I'm going to leave you with this. He's naming his cabinet, and this is just in the book. Okay? Secretary of State, William Stewart. Now I'm going to roll on down to Secretary of Navy, John Gary. Here's the one that stood out. His Secretary of Agriculture, LaFay Pence of Colorado. P-E-N-C-E. This book was written 127 years ago. What are the odds? I'll post the link to both of these books that are at the Library of Congress. The article here from the Daily Wire. And yes, it is true, as odd as it may sound. Thanks for watching, guys. Be safe out there.
So what y'all think about that? Is this proof that, they went back in the past just to show you that they can and to make it like a story, but the story is playing out in real life? And it's just so strange how parallel these two books are. Please subscribe and leave your comments.